everyone, it's Liz here with Sweet Digi Scraps, and today we're going to cover a basic tutorial on how I make my paper bag albums. There are several different ways that you can create a paper bag album. This, I have found, is simply the easiest and the strongest for your books, so that your paper bags are no longer like paper bags. They're more like actual bound albums. Like I said, there's several ways that you can do this. This is just the way that I do. So let's get to it, shall we? First things first are your supplies that you're going to need. I will list the measurements and supply list below the video, and that way you will have them for reference. But you're going to need your standard lunch bags. This is just your brown paper bags you can pick up at the supermarket. I got 150 of them for $1.75 at Odd Lots. The sizes of the standard lunch bag is perfect for the sizes that we're going to work with today. You're going to need at least 5 per album. You can do 6 or more. I wouldn't recommend going over 10, simply for the fact that you're going to want to be able to have your book close at some point. You will see even this is not that highly embellished, and it does accordion out a little bit. So at least 5 paper bags. You're also going to want chipboard. This is the lightweight chipboard. Either lightweight or medium weight will work perfectly fine, because when we're finished, you're actually going to make them stronger than they actually are themselves when we're finished with this. If you don't have the chipboard, you can use your lunch snack boxes or your cereal boxes. They will work for this. Or you can double up a lunch bag actually and use it. It's going to be 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, and like I said, I'm going to list the measurements below, but you'll need 2 pieces for front and back cover. You're also going to want clips or clothespins, and this will hold your book together while you're in the process of drying it. Your scissors, index cards. This is 3 by 5. You're going to want adhesive, both a wet and a dry adhesive. I use actually the Turbo Tacky. I like it best. It has a better bond and it's faster in drying. But even the regular tacky will work. This is the Terrifically Tacky tape, and this is just a double-sided tape. Or you can use your ATG gun, glue gun, however you want to use. But you'll need those as well. And you're going to need your kit that you plan on working with, or supplies. This is actually from the Find Yourself collection. You're going to want 5 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, 5 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and 5 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. And these are all the measurements that you'll use throughout the book. As long as you're using the standard lunch bag sizes, this is the exact measurements that you're going to need for that. And you're also going to want your embellishments, or journal cards. The Tell Your Story cards at the digichick are perfect for what we use for the journaling inserts, or you can use tags, pieces to decorate and embellish your own journaling cards on the index cards. But these will work just perfect. Like I said, the Tell Your Story cards, there's a huge collection at the digichick for you to print out and use however you want, and they're great to mix and match with any type of kits that you're working with. So, first things first in creating the paper bag album, and I promise this is super simple. It's not a hard thing to create. You're just going to take your paper bags and fold them all directly in half. All 5 of them, fold them all in half. Probably hear the crinkling of the papers, and I apologize. It's probably annoying. Once you have 5 of them together, you're going to put them just like this so that it opens up, and you have a flap side to your right of the open, and to the left you're going to have the flap part without the flap. And you're going to use your wet glue and glue these 2 pieces together, just like that. And you're going to do that to all 5 of your pages. Once you're finished, you're going to have something just like this, where it opens and closes, and it's all stuck together, all 5 pages. And as I said before, the measurements are all going to fit each one of these pages. And then you're going to take your 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 paper, open the first flap for your first page here, and use your dry adhesive. I use the dry simply for the fact that I don't want my papers to bubble up, and it works best, I do believe. Take and put down your 5 1/4 on the flat parts. Under each flap, this part, you'll want your 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and on this one here, you're going to want to glue down your 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. After you've glued down all of your pieces, or you've adhered them with your dry glue, I should say, or your tape, you're going to take each one of your flap sections and use the wet glue and create a small line on each section under the flaps, and then press them down. That way it makes a pocket. And the reason we're using the wet glue is simply so that when you put an insert in, much like I have on this one, they don't get stuck to your extra tape or whatever that you have inside, because with the tape runners you usually do have that little bit that does stick. So if you use this, you don't have to worry about that. Once you have all of your papers down, you're going to use your wet adhesive once again, and you're going to put your pieces of chipboard. You're going to put your pieces of chipboard or cardboard, whichever that you're using, on both the front and the back. Once you have that done, you can put a piece of paper, also 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, on each side. After you're done with all of your papers on there, I would recommend at this point, it is an optional thing, but at that point I would recommend using Mod Podge. This is actually a puzzle Mod, but I have paper Mod that I use. Put your Mod Podge on it. This will help seal your paper crafts and keep them so that they last longer without color fading or any type of damages to your papers themselves. And at that point, you can choose to either bind the book or leave it open. I actually prefer the bound look. This one I didn't, because it actually has a craft paper look to it. So I found that it did look better without the binding on this particular album that I created. This one, however, with the binding, it's 5 1/4 by 2 1/4, and you simply wrap it around the edges of the book. It's just like that. It's wrapped just around the edges of the book with one fold and one fold. And then you can decorate with a ribbon to cover off the edges, however you choose to do it that way. And once you have all of that done, it's just embellish and decorate as you see fit. The cards, the index cards that we did use, that we do have for supplies, this is where they go. And each one of these pages, you have an open section when you're finished that you can put journaling cards or photos in. You can put your photos on the back of it, journal on the opposite side, or you can do as I've done with this album. This is using Bo Bunny's Hooligans kit. You can take and embellish each particular card with your own decorations. Put a tab on them so they're easy pull outs. Same has been done with this one. You pull it out. And the same with this one. Each one of them you can decorate. On each pocket, you can also do the same. It would be cutting the cards directly in half, and they will fit perfectly in here, straight along the half line. You can do that, and they would fit just right inside these pockets here for journaling. And that's it. I promise it's really super simple and actually really addicting. So once you're addicted to making paper bag albums, please do not complain to me. And like I said, using the Tell Your Story cards, much like I have, this is actually a library card I printed out from the Find Yourself collection. This actually fits perfectly with the index card. And the reason I put them on the index card is because it reinforces the strength of it and makes it so that I know for sure that it's going to withstand pulling out and last in my album actually. So that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, and I hope that you have fun creating your own albums.